The Phantom Painter, a haunting tale of love, mystery, and art. Welcome to our channel. Today, we present the story of the Phantom Painter. Enjoy watching. In the heart of the historic district, where cobblestone streets whispered tales of old, stood an abandoned studio, its windows covered in a thick layer of grime. The building had an eerie charm, drawing the attention of tourists and locals alike, yet none dared to enter. Legends spoke of a phantom painter whose spirit lingered within, waiting for someone worthy to uncover its secrets. Clara, a struggling artist with a fervent passion for painting, was desperate for a change. Her works had stagnated, and she needed inspiration. When she heard about the old studio available for a meager rent, she couldn't resist. Ignoring the warnings and dismissing the ghost stories as mere superstition, she signed the lease and moved in. On her first night, Clara felt an inexplicable chill as she unpacked her supplies. The studio was filled with relics of the past: canvases, brushes, and half-finished paintings covered in dust. Among them, she found an old easel with a blank canvas. She decided to use it, feeling an odd connection to the mysterious place. As Clara began painting, strange things happened. Her brush seemed guided by an unseen hand, creating vivid images of a time long past. The first painting depicted a grand ballroom filled with elegantly dressed people from a bygone era. She couldn't understand where the images were coming from. It was as if the studio itself was channeling them night after night. Clara painted scenes from the past. One painting showed a young woman, beautiful and sorrowful, standing by a window. Another captured a man, his face twisted in anguish, reaching out to someone unseen. The most haunting piece depicted a violent confrontation, with the same young woman lying motionless on the floor and the anguished man holding her. Clara was both mesmerized and terrified. She began researching the history of the studio and discovered it had once belonged to a famous painter named Victor. Victor had been madly in love with a woman named Isabelle, a talented singer who performed at the nearby opera house. Their love was intense but fraught with jealousy and misunderstandings. According to the old records, Isabella had been murdered in the studio, and Victor, consumed by grief and guilt, disappeared shortly after. The mystery of her death was never solved, and many believed Victor's spirit remained, seeking redemption and the truth. Determined to uncover the truth, Clara delved deeper into the mystery. She found Victor's old diary hidden in a secret compartment behind a wall. The diary detailed Victor's life, his love for Isabelle, and his torment after her death. It also contained sketches and notes about a hidden masterpiece, a painting that would reveal the truth about Isabella's murder. One stormy night, as Clara read the diary, the studio's atmosphere grew colder. She felt a presence behind her and turned to see a faint, ghostly figure: Victor. His eyes were filled with sorrow, but he seemed to plead for her help. Clara knew what she had to do. She set up the easel and began painting the final piece. Guided by Victor's spirit, the masterpiece unfolded before her eyes, revealing the events leading to Isabella's death. It showed a jealous rival, a fellow artist who had coveted both Isabella's talent and Victor's fame. In a fit of rage, he had attacked Isabelle, and Victor, arriving too late to save her, had fought the rival, who fled the scene as the last stroke of paint dried. The ghostly figure of Victor smiled at Clara, his form becoming more transparent. The studio filled with a warm light, and Clara felt a sense of peace enveloping her. Victor's spirit was finally free, and the truth about Isabella's death was revealed. The painting became an instant sensation, not only for its beauty but for the story it told. Clara's career soared, and she became known as the artist who unraveled the mystery of the phantom painter. She continued to paint, forever inspired by the spirits of the past and their untold stories, and the old studio, once a place of sorrow and mystery, became a beacon of creativity and inspiration, its walls echoing with the laughter and joy of artists who came to create. Undeterred by the legends of ghosts and phantoms, the fame of Clara's masterpiece, The Unveiling, spread far and wide, drawing art enthusiasts and historians to the old studio. Clara, now celebrated as the artist who solved the mystery of the one evening. While Clara was working late in the studio, she noticed a peculiar draft coming from the corner where she had found Victor's diary. Curious, she followed the draft to a hidden panel she hadn't seen before. Behind it was a narrow staircase leading to a dusty attic filled with a sense of trepidation. Clara removed the cover, revealing a half-finished painting that took her breath away. It depicted a vast, stormy sea with a small boat struggling against the waves. The expressions of fear and determination on the faces of the figures in the boat were hauntingly vivid. Clara realized this was Victor's last, unfinished. Determined to honor Victor's legacy, Clara decided to complete the painting. As she began, she felt the familiar, guiding presence she had felt before. Each stroke of her brush seemed to be directed by an unseen hand. But this time, the visions that came to her were different. They weren't from the past but from the future. The painting began to show scenes of modern-day struggles and triumphs. It depicted people from all walks of life, facing their fears and overcoming them. Clara realized that this was not just Victor's story but a universal one, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. As she worked, strange occurrences began to happen. She heard whispers in the night, saw fleeting shadows out of the corner of her eye, and felt an overwhelming sense of being watched. It was as if the studio itself was alive, responding to the emotions she poured into the painting. One night, as a thunderstorm raged outside, Clara felt an intense chill. She turned to see the ghostly figures of Victor and Isabella, standing together. This time, they looked serene, their forms more solid than ever before. "You've done well, Clara," Victor said, his voice echoing softly. "But there is still one last task." Isabella stepped forward, holding a small, ornate box. "This contains our most precious memories," she said. "You must place it within the painting. It will bind our spirits to the legacy of hope and resilience you are creating." With trembling hands, Clara opened the box to find a collection of small, personal items: a lock of hair, a locket, a ring, and a piece of sheet music. She understood what she had to do. Carefully, she painted these items into the scene, each one symbolizing a piece of Victor and Isabella's love and struggle. As she added the final touches, the painting seemed to come alive. The stormy sea calmed, the boat found its way to shore, and the figures' faces lit up with hope and joy. The room filled with a warm, golden light, and Clara felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Victor and Isabella's spirits smiled at her, their forms shimmering. "Thank you," they whispered in unison before fading into the light. The completed painting, titled Resilience, became a symbol of hope and inspiration. It was displayed in galleries around the world, touching the hearts of all who saw it. Clara's studio became a sanctuary for artists, a place where the past and present melded, fostering creativity and resilience. Clara continued to paint, forever guided by the spirits of Victor and Isabella. Their story, now intertwined with hers, became a beacon of hope, proving that love, art, and the human spirit could transcend time and overcome any adversity. And in the quiet moments, when the studio was still, Clara could almost hear the soft whispers of the phantom painter and his beloved, their legacy living on through every brushstroke she made.